Hi everybody, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Jillian and I've been making videos on YouTube documenting my Capella University experience. So far, I have completed the Bachelor of Science in Psychology on the Flex Path, and I'm currently enrolled in the Master of Science for Marriage and Family Therapy program on the Guided Path. I live in California, so I'm a long distance learner as the school is located in Minnesota. But I've gotten quite a few messages regarding Residency Track 2, and I realize nobody else is posting about this, and I feel bad I haven't gotten it up sooner, but here it is, and I guess I'll just jump right into it. So for starters, a lot of people are asking what it's like and how it's different from Track 1. It is nearly the same. There's still a cohort, there's still a booklet that you follow, you still practice together, but there's less emphasis on practice like Track 1, and more emphasis on preparing to be recorded. You will be recorded in Residency Track 2, and that's a little nerve-wracking. I volunteered to go first because I didn't want to sit all week feeling anxious and watching everyone do so much better than me and then feel like I crashed and burned. So I set the bar. Everyone said I set it high, but by the end of it, I feel like a lot of people learned from one another, and the people who ended up going last did a really good job. Basically, what happens is you get a booklet and it'll have different therapeutic models in it, not all of them, but you get to pick one out. And then separately, I think it was in the course room, there's a list of family scenarios. What you will do as the therapist is pick a model that you want to work with and demonstrate it. You'll also pick I forget what I just called it, a family scenario, and you can read through them all, see which one resonates with you, and then pick that one, and you'll put the two together and you'll record. As for the family scenarios, it could be ranging anywhere from 2 family members upwards to 6. There's different cultural backgrounds you get to choose from, different job scenarios that are present. I think there was a military family, somebody who was unemployed. So I picked a Korean family who had a mother, a father, and a 19-year-old daughter who was in college, and she was afraid she was going to have to resign from school because dad lost his job and mom was working full-time, and there was a lot of family stress. I chose to apply solution-focused therapy to this scenario, and that was my presentation. I picked all of this right when I arrived, so I didn't get a lot of time, and I also got to pick my classmates. I asked who wanted to join me, but I also picked certain people that I was already connecting with. And that was wonderful. I'm getting a text message. Hold on. Okay. And so that was my scenario. That's what I chose. That's the model I decided to work with. And then I brought a clipboard with me and I wrote down the key highlights of solution focused. I wrote scaling questions, miracle questions, short and long-term goals. The one interesting thing about me choosing this family scenario is that it said it was a first family session. I don't know how much people will get into solution-focused therapy on a first session. Usually we want to hear what's going on, and we want to get some biopsychosocial information, like case conceptualization. We want to find out what's going on before we start applying a model, so I found that to be interesting. Some of the other scenarios were second session or a few weeks in, but it's okay. You can apply solution focus to this first time session. It was just an observation I made. So that was my experience. My friend had a different experience. She was instructed by her advisor to pick out the classmates ahead of time, to pick out the model ahead of time, to meet with her classmates over Zoom. They got to perfect it and practice. I think they had 3 Zoom meetings total to work on this presentation, so that by the time they made it to Residency Track 2, they were already familiar, they already had practice, and then they recorded. I'm actually really glad that wasn't the case for me. I really already overthink. I don't need to overthink this big production and recording. So I was thankful that I got to treat it more like a real therapy session where you go in and you're not quite sure who's going to say what, so it feels more real. No matter which type of professor you end up with, I trust you'll be able to get through this. If you made it this far on the journey, this is the hardest part. Honestly, being in internship 1, aka my practicum, has been a lot easier than that experience. it's harder in different ways, but you're not being filmed, so that's a plus. When it comes to the filming process, you get filmed for 20 minutes, and when you're getting filmed, the rest of the class is either standing or sitting alongside of you, and they're lining, like they're parallel to you, watching you ping pong back and forth with your chosen family and watching the scenario play out. And they are called the reflecting team, and they have their Capella track 2 notebook that they get, that we all got, and they'll be taking notes and they'll tear it out and give it to you. And they are instructed after the recording ends, they're instructed, I'm stuttering a lot, wow, I'm sleepy. They are instructed to say I wonder statements. I wonder what would have happened if you asked this. I wonder what the family thought about this question. I wonder if the therapist is trusting herself and if she feels safe right now. Some people were getting really nervous during theirs, and so it's a way to comment on the therapist without divulging it or needing it to go anywhere. So 20 minutes of the recording was with me and the family, and then you're basically done. That's the hardest part. The next 20-ish minutes is the reflecting team reflecting. Maybe that was 10 minutes. And it's just them saying all of those I wonder statements so that you can have feedback in a really safe way. And then the third recording is me and the family talking back and forth. What worked? What didn't work? How did it make us feel when I asked a certain thing? Or what was I struggling with? Because I picked solution-focused therapy, I had in mind miracle questions, short and long-term goals, and scaling questions. And I knew what scaling questions were until the recording started. And then I was like, scaling? Like weighing, like a fruit scale? Like I couldn't remember. I was so nervous. So in my recording, you hear me say, I felt really scared, and so I forgot what scaling questions were. But it wasn't an issue. I got an A. Just do your best. The biggest tip that I can give you is get lost in the family scenario. Look at your family in the eye and just keep wondering about them. Well, what about that? Well, how did that make you feel? What do you think about that? What do you think your mom's trying to say to your dad when she does this? Just keep asking questions. And my favorite thing that I learned in track 1 was how to gather biopsychosocial information, and it was really hard. Even in track 2, it felt really hard to gather that type of information, but now as a therapist intern who's in practicum, I'm seeing the benefit of this. I need to know a lot of these things. Is there addiction in your family? What's your developmental history? How do you identify? Do you have any religious beliefs or practices that I should be aware of? Or knowing what the presenting issue is and to not lose sight of that. I can't think of anything. It's the end of the week and I've been working with clients all week. But during the track 1 and 2, it's harder to remember why we're gathering that information. But now that I'm actually meeting with these people in real life, like real clients, and building a relationship, it comes secondhand. I want to know all of these things. Tell me about your family system. Who do you live with? Who influences you? The most recent question I've been trying to get more mindful of asking, which is a part of that assessment, is who's your support system? So yeah, residency track 2 is really not that bad. I think by the time you get to it, everyone is just chilling. Everyone's gone through the bulk of the coursework. A lot of people have already gone, obviously, to track 1. By the time you're in track 2, that scared me, it's my cat. By the time you're in track 2, there's just a whole new level of professionalism. And if you haven't already started trusting yourself, you'll probably start to trust yourself in track 2. A lot of us noted that we started believing in ourselves as professionals. And yeah, I think that's all I have left to say. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below. I'm pretty good at getting back to you. And I will also insert some clips so you can see maybe a snippet of my presentation, a snippet of the reflecting team, and maybe me talking back and forth. But I hope this helps. And I need to start recording my practicum before it ends. My practicum ends in a couple of weeks, and I want to document that. So be on the lookout for that video, and until next time, take care and peace.
Vulnerably in front of your parents. I can't imagine how hard
that must have been. Bakwem, you mentioned earlier a time that things were going well. I think you said when you were employed and things felt better. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I mean, when I was doing my job, which was a very respectable job, and got laid off, I do want to find something comparable because I don't think they understand how shameful it is for me to get a lesser job. I feel like my self-worth is wrapped in that, my honor is wrapped in that. So that's kind of why I'm holding off for that position. And I absolutely want you to finish college and do well and enjoy your time in college. That's, I think education is very important. Experience is very important. But at the same time, it's just have a sense of not knowing what to do because, like you said, the jobs aren't out there. And I would have to take a huge pay cut and position cut and respect. And it's just hard for me to do that.
Absolutely. So you're sitting tight. You want to find the right job for your family, not just any job. Is this right?
Yeah. Yes.
Fair enough. Chang, I wanted to ask you, because I know you work all day, you cook all night, you're worried about Choi. You're feeling upset with your husband because he's not getting a job and helping also to fund the school. There's a lot going on here. I'm wondering if you could wake up tomorrow and just wave a magic wand and have everything be how you would like it in your household, what would that look like?
Well, I guess he would have a job and something that he wants to do. Like, I don't want him to. I understand he doesn't want to go flip burgers at a fast food restaurant. That's